heard something today to see if it was real. Anyway. The only place that the lilies are still working right here at the front. This whole line here was lilies all the way down past the truck. And I think that these trees have grown over enough that there's too much shade. There's not even any blooms. A couple there. There's a bloom. Here a bloom. There a bloom. Everywhere a bloom. A little bit here. Anyway, I heard something today. Joe Heschmeyer from Catholic Answers was addressing some Ukrainian pastor who's actually living in America, I think, who, since he was 13, who is, made some video. He's apparently quite popular on YouTube, and made some video about 10 reasons why he's not Catholic. And he made some odd assertions that Catholicism wasn't Christian. I don't know what it was, but the interesting thing I got out of the little bit that I've listened to so far, and what stood out to me was Joe was confronting, I think, one of the first 3 objections Pastor Vlad had, and Joe referenced the Gospel of John, and he's talking about John 10, I think 5 to 7, I don't know, somewhere in chapter 10, where Jesus says that a false shepherd is a robber who will climb over the gate, and Jesus himself is the gate. I think that's where it was. And then later in chapter 10, around 15 to 17 of John, Jesus says that he's the shepherd, he's the gate. And then later he brings up the point in chapter 21, that famous passage where Jesus has come back and he says, Peter, feed my sheep, feed my lambs, tend my flock. So that, do you love me? Yes, Lord, I love you. Do you love me? Yes, Lord, you know I love you. Do you, Peter, do you love me? Yes, Lord, you know everything. You know I love you. That famous passage. So it would appear that Jesus is the shepherd. There are false shepherds, robbers, i.e. Pastor Vlad, who has no authority whatsoever to speak. And there were so many things. And then there is Peter, who is a legitimate shepherd that Jesus put in place himself. The only place where he says, tend my sheep, tend my flock, tend my sheep, feed them. So in chapter 10, he's talking about shepherds and himself being a shepherd, Jesus, and false shepherds. And then by the end of the gospel, he's turning that shepherdship over to Peter, since he's about to go back to his Father, and your Father and my Father. So I thought that was interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. I never had those connections put together. Pastor Vlad also had a few other, lots. I don't know, it was an hour and 10 talk on the 10 questions, the 10 objections of Pastor Vlad, and he even contradicts the Bible and things, and the validity, the authority of the Bible, and different things. It was very, anyway, very interesting. Joe Heschmeyer, very good to listen to, and I think in that, this is around minute 33 to 35 of the talk, he makes the point that Jesus is the shepherd. He says it himself, and then he turns the shepherdhood the keys of the shepherd over to Peter. So let's not deny what Jesus says. Let's give Peter the authority, i.e. the Pope, and recognize. Let's ask all the saints to pray for us. Please pray for the souls